Welcome back, everybody. My name is Abby, and today I want to do a special treat for you. It is an improvised workout. I have nothing planned. I am just going to set a timer for 20 minutes, and I'm going to trust what my body says it wants to do. So I'm going to try to keep moving pretty much the whole 20 minutes. But some of the movements might be faster, some of them might be slower. I might use some kettlebells for some things. I might use just my body weight for other things. I'm just gonna follow what feels good. This is one of my favorite ways to work out, honestly. And so I'm gonna invite you along for the ride. You are welcome at any point to diverge from what I am offering and do whatever feels good to you. And just try to keep moving for these 20 minutes. If you want to throw on some music, maybe you take a dance break at some point, or just have some tunes to keep you going. Awesome. So I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, and I'm going to start with jumping jacks. You're welcome to join me. I love starting with jumping jacks because I love jumping. And it's a nice, relatively easy, accessible way to start a workout. There's not a huge range of motion. Gets the blood pumping, but it's not too difficult on the joints. If your shoulders are sensitive, it might be a little sensitive there, in which case you just cross your arms over your heart, or take your hands to your hips. There's many ways to be a jumping jack. And at some point, maybe I'll move on to one of my other favorite places to start, squat jumps. But you know what? I'm feeling good with jumping jacks for now. Look at me, already planning ahead. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna squat jumps now. So you are welcome to join me if you want. You can jump or you can just squat. Or once again, you can do whatever you want. Maybe it's doing some high kicks or some peeing dogs or some side kicks, some lunges. Oh my gosh, there's so many things we could be doing. Try not to overthink. Try to just ask yourself what your body would like to do. And if the answer is unclear, just do what I'm doing. I love a squat. It's a good, nice full body workout. Solid feet on the ground. Option for a little jump. And you know how I love jumping. Oh yeah. And I'm really trying not to plan ahead, but I am trying to notice what my body would like. So after this, I think I will probably want something a little less quad intensive. Maybe like an upper body thing. Maybe some push-ups. That sounds fun. I think I'll do some push-ups. Starting now. Oh yeah. All right. So again, feel free to join me with push-ups, or feel free to follow your heart and choose anything else you like. Maybe it's just holding a plank or a side plank. Maybe it's doing some one-legged squats. Maybe it's returning to jumping jacks. Trust that you have enough knowledge in your body that you don't have to panic. There are lots of options. And again, if all else fails, or if you just want to follow along and do some push-ups. Although, I gotta be honest, I will not be doing very many more push-ups. I am about at my limit. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That is enough for me. Hey, we've been at this almost 4 minutes. I am gonna go with one-legged squats here, or split squats. Nice chance for my arms to rest. And I can actually get a little pec stretch, which feels nice after all those push-ups. If I take my hands to my hips and just draw my elbows back. So for this, I'm thinking about keeping a nice tall spine, using the strength of my feet. So my toes, especially of my front foot, are really engaged. I'm not counting, I'm realizing, and that's okay. I'm really truly gonna go by feel. I might do a few more on one side and the other. I don't care. My body will tell me when enough is enough. Oh yeah, and I think I'm about ready to switch right now. Yeah, if you're really into counting and you want to count, you by all means can. But remember, you don't have to. It's easy to be a little obsessed with symmetry and following the rules and doing exactly the same thing on each side. But day-to-day life is just rarely like that, and we're okay. We're surviving. So not everything has to be exactly the same or perfect in order to be good. But whatever you're doing, try to breathe well. Try to focus on having good form. Oh, I think I'm done with that side. I'm gonna give you a good shake. And after that, I'm gonna pick up a kettlebell. I'm feeling it. And I'm just gonna do some kettlebell swings, just simple kettlebell swings. This is a good back body exercise, the glutes, hamstrings, quads, and the muscles in the spine. And if you don't have a kettlebell or if you are not warmed up to swing, find something else. You could also try, I'll show you this real quick. You could do a kettlebell deadlift if you're feeling like using a weight, but maybe not swinging at this point. Give you that as an option. It's kind of a nice precursor or warm up to a lot of other kettlebell activities. If you're swinging or using a weight, think about having a nice, tall, long spine. And I'm going to do about 5 more, I think. Oh, good times. Okay. I'm going to go back to jumping jacks. Give my body a little reset. Feel free to join me or try anything else. Again, I just really love the feeling of jumping jacks. Just shakes everything out. Sometimes I'll do it without my arms. Let my arms just kind of flop around, especially if the shoulders are really sore. It also just feels ridiculous. It feels like a Muppet. And the world needs more Muppets, I think. And again, I'm not trying to plan ahead, but I am noticing what my body is feeling, thinking about what might feel good next. I'm thinking some shoulders and back, some back of shoulders and spine engagement might be nice. So I'm going to try something else with the kettlebell. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be involving the back. Okay. And you know what? I've decided it's going to be cleans. So I'm going to take my bell. I'm going to take my lighter bell. I'm also going to take my watch off. And I'm going to set up for some cleans. And you can also do single arm deadlifts. I'll show you that first. So that can be a nice Little precursor or warm up to the clean. If you want to join me for cleans, bell starts between the heels or the arches. And then I pull up and I'm just going to alternate one side to the other. You could also do a few on one side and then switch if that is helpful. So I'm feeling my back muscles really strong, keeping my spine straight and actually keeping my spine in just a tiny bit of extension. So a little bit of an arch. Muscles around my shoulder blade are also working to pull my shoulder blade onto my back. So I'm not letting the weight of the bell pull me forward. I'm in control of that bell. And I think after a few more of these, I'm thinking I'm going to do some racked lunges. So holding on to the weight, but bringing back some of that split squat action that we did early on. Okay, a couple more. All right, so now bell's back in my right hand where I started, I think. And then I'm going to step my left foot back. And I'm just going to squat down and up. I'll do that a few times. Keeping my elbow pointing down, my forearm vertical. Keeping my wrist strong. So I'm not wonking my wrist out to the side. Keeping it strong. And let's switch sides. Whenever I notice that my form is starting to deteriorate, I take a little extra breath, straighten my spine, and ground through my feet. And if those things don't help, breathing, spine straightening, grounding through the feet, then that's a clue to me that it might be time to move on to the next thing or take a break. I never want to compromise my form, and I never want to compromise my breath. Okay, that is good. I'm going to come back to a couple cleans right now, in fact, because I'm feeling it. Feel free to join me, or again, you could return or try out single arm deadlifts. Those are kind of nice. But this feels good to me to bring a little bit more engagement into the back of the butt. Outer butt muscles were working pretty hard in our racked lunges just moments ago. But now I want to feel the back of my butt engage. And I'm not going to do too many more, just a couple. Okay. Evening out. And now I'm going to keep with that trend of back body engagement. I'm going to come onto my belly and take some flutter kicks. So for this, I'm going to rest my forehead on my hands. And actually maybe just take a moment, take a breather. With my butt relaxed. And then at any point, I'm going to lift my legs and just give a little flutter kick. So I'm using my glutes. My legs are in extension, or my hips are in extension. butt, glutes, and hamstrings and low back are all doing some work here. And it could be a quick flutter like I'm doing, or it could even be like a really sort of slow flutter tap. Oh, and now actually it feels good to just come into a locust and hold it with my feet down. You might lift your feet if that feels good, bringing a little more strength to my back, my mid and upper back, as well as the lower. Okay, and then I'm going to release, and I'm going to come back. And I'm going to revisit some squats and maybe squat jumps. Get the quads working again. And right now I'm being mindful of my lower back. So sometimes I'll squat pretty low. If my lower back is feeling a little fatigued, like it is now, I'm going to stay perhaps a little higher. Really sitting my butt back, keeping my spine straight. And now my body is like, you know what? That's enough of that. We're going to go into some speed skaters. So I'm going to honor that. Get a little more side butt action. And speed skaters are, for me, almost like jumping jacks. Sort of like a reset. There's nothing that is rushed. They're a little on the slower side, even slower than jumping jacks. So I can catch my breath a little bit and focus on balance rather than a huge amount of strength. Ooh. And not planning ahead, but thinking, noticing, feeling into what would feel good next. And I'm going to take some Turkish get-ups, or as I like to do, Turkish get-downs. So this will also involve a kettlebell. And I'll talk you through it if you want to join me. Or again, you could do anything else that feels good and fun. I'm going to start out with my lighter bell here, my 25er. I'm also going to check the time. Oh my gosh, you know what, you guys? We only have 3 minutes left. So, whew. Okay, so for this Turkish get down, I'm starting with the bell over my head, and then I'm going to step back, kneel, swoop to the side, and then swoop my leg under and come down to my forearm. I recommend, if you're not familiar with this Turkish get down or Turkish get up, to do something else that feels good and familiar to you. We're in the home stretch. So again, you could just return to squats, to jumping jacks, to kettlebell swings, or if this is a familiar action for you, you can clean the bell, thrust the bell, and then take a Turkish get down. Or if you're familiar with the Turkish get up, then you can do that instead. And I'll trust that you know how to do that. Whoo, yeah. Strong and steady through the breath. I'm just going to do one on each side. And then I'm going to do some thrusters. So taking the bell to my left hand, pushing it up, squatting down, thrusting it up, squatting down, thrusting it up. Just going to do 2 more on this side. And switch. We only have 1 minute left here. If you want to hold a plank for a minute, that could be a fun little way to close out. You could come back to push-ups. split squats, regular squats, jumping jacks, anything you want. I'm gonna do one more here. And then I'm gonna come back to the old classic jumping jacks. Shaking it out. Home stretch, people. 20 seconds left. However you want your grand finale to look. It is up to you. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we are done. Oh, what a treat. So, continuing in theme of honoring your body and what would feel good, just take a moment, whether it's a moment standing or laying down or shaking out your limbs, and just notice what you're feeling and where you might be in need of a little extra attention. For me, I always like to just start with shaking. Again, just kind of getting the blood moving and things settling. I'm going to clear my mat of my bell, and I'll do a little cool down here. If you want to join me in what I'm doing, or if you want to do your own thing, I'm just going to take about 5 minutes of cooling down. I'll actually set a timer for 5 minutes. And for me, what would feel good is sort of a cool down. Planks and side planks. So I'm going to do some of those. And I'm not going to worry about how long I'm holding it. I'm truly just going by feel. And for planks, you always have the option of knees down or up. For me, side plank feels really good, especially after a lot of shoulder work or arm over head work. I'm pushing the floor away with my bottom hand, lifting with my top arm, or sometimes I'll reach my top arm over my ear. Lift through the bottom side waist, in this case, my left side waist. And you can feel free to switch at any point. I just kind of wait until my left arm gets a little bit of a shake. And then I'll carefully switch to the other side. If you feel like counting for how long you're on each side, you certainly can, but it's not necessary. We don't always have to be totally symmetrical. I like to trust that my body will tell me when to switch. And on this side, my right side always starts to shake a little bit sooner than my left. Let's see if I can stay a couple more breaths. Lifting from my side waist. And I'm going to come back to plank. Take a couple more breaths here. And then I'm going to lower all the way down onto my belly. And I'm going to take a little pec stretch here. So if you're on your belly, you can join me for this, taking your hands wider than your yoga mat, a little forward, and then coming up to fingertips. And I'm lifting up like I'm coming into kind of a cobra pose, and I'm letting my elbows go really wide. So regular cobra pose, my hands would be here. For this, my elbows are going really wide. So I'm feeling a good stretch across the front of my shoulders. And then it might even feel good to dip one shoulder down. So I'm dipping my right shoulder as I look to the left. And then looking back up to the middle. And then left shoulder dips as I look to the right. It's a nice way to get a little more pec stretch on one side at a time. And then back to the middle. I'm going to take a regular cobra pose. If it feels good for you to even lift a little higher, like push the floor down as you lift your heart, coming into a little back bend can feel really nice. Stretching your belly. And then I'm going to push back. Oh yeah, into a child's pose. That feels nice. And right here for me, I'm feeling a pretty good amount of stretch in my lower back and even my sacrum area. If that feels like too much for you, you can be more forward with your butt more in the air. But for me, this feels really good. A little stretch of the low back. You can even rock your head side to side, massage your forehead. Now I think I want to stretch my quads. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to step one foot forward. I'm going to take my kettlebell here. If you have a yoga block, you could also use a yoga block. I'll take my hand on a kettlebell, my right hand on my thigh, and just kind of push my thigh forward. So my left hand is just a little elevated here on this bell. And then I'm going to see how this works. Bending my back knee, taking my right hand to my foot, pulling my heel in, turning my chest a little towards the right. And for me, twisting doesn't feel great for my spine, so I'm opening my knee and foot a little bit to the right. That feels nice. And I'm going to switch. Maneuver to the other side. Again, if you have a yoga block, that might be preferable to a kettlebell, but kettlebell can work too. Starting by stepping my left foot forward. Right hand is on the bell, left hand is kind of pressing against my thigh. And then I'm going to stay nice and steady on the kettlebell so I'm not pushing to the side. Bending my back knee, taking my left hand to meet my foot, pulling my heel in, turning my chest, and a little bit, to some degree, my hips to the left. And then I'm going to release that side. And that was the end of 5 minutes, which is amazing. It just goes by so fast. I'm going to take one more down dog. And then one more child's pose, and then I'm going to be done. So if you have any other last little movements you want to do, anything, maybe a self-massage or a shakeout or a wiggle. Good stuff. Ending with one more child's pose for me. Okay. So, thank you so much for joining me for our little improvised adventure. Please keep following what your body wants. And if you need more time to cool down or lay on the floor before you move on to your next thing, take the time to do so. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you next time.